welcome back to Highly Animated Podcast. Myself, Jason, and my co-host, Spencer.
What's going on?
And as promised, we're going to be doing an interview today. We got my buddy Pat here. Why don't you say what's up, Pat?
What's up, Highly Animated fam?
Hey, got one of our fans here, one of our good buddies. And so today, we're going to talk about, of course, anime. And we're going to start the conversation off with just an easy question for Pat, and we're going to dive right into this. So, Pat, do you like anime?
Oh, that's a loaded question. It's intriguing for sure. Like my first exposure to it was Pokemon back in the 90s, right?
Yep.
Yep, old school.
Yeah, so I loved it back then for sure. And then I think, Jason, when you and I used to do our Sunday movies, we saw Ghost in a Shell.
Yep.
And that kind of like opened my eyes up to the genre of bio-enhanced humans, right?
Yeah.
And there's really not much of that out there in the mainland stuff. It's all anime. So that kind of took me down that little rabbit hole, and that's where I found Akira and Ghost in the Shell anime version and Megaloboxing. And so I have some experience, yeah.
I think if we try to get back a little bit to the beginning of that question, right? You're like, hey, used to love anime when I was little. Where was the change where you stopped loving anime, where you didn't continue, just got older, some other underlying reason, didn't like it anymore, wasn't getting into it, couldn't keep up?
Well, I didn't have the technology or whatever to look it up, or the friends that knew how to look it up online, like you guys have talked about before. And then on top of that, I started playing sports a lot and hanging out with friends, riding bikes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course,
to kind of backstop that a little bit, I definitely watched anime in our early 20s, and there were opportunities.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the 90s.
Yeah,
baby.
dude, we're talking about
my early 20s.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the same question that we said for ours, going back to the episode 1. It was like, hey, it was the means of watching it, right? Like, we all dealt with that technology. It was not to say you're not special. I get where you're coming from, but that would be the same thing like any person we bring on here would say. It's like, oh, we didn't have streaming services and Crunchyroll and Netflix, and even Netflix early on didn't have anime and all this kind of stuff. And that's definitely all true. You know what I mean? But I would say sports, right? Life happened to you, and that's why you kind of stopped watching anime. That's why I stopped watching anime. That's why Spencer, unless I'm speaking for you, you got a different reason. That's why he stopped watching anime.
Well, I think it's also important that the fact that we didn't have those streaming services out there played a role, because
huge role for sure.
I don't want to go spend an hour looking for a show.
Okay.
That's a lot of work to just find one episode of a show and then have to do it over again, right?
Yeah, and that's what we kind of here.
Yeah, getting more to that would be just like maybe not necessarily the access to the streaming service, but the access into how quickly you can watch so much now. Like, because back then when you're watching Pokemon, it's like, what, fucking wake up Saturday morning, you get your 1 episode, 2 episode, whatever kind of block that they have on, and even to that point, it's not just Pokemon, right? There's that chance where, hey, continue watching some of the other shows that are coming out within that same time period, right? I mean, I think it was even I transitioned, when I'm watching Pokemon when we were younger, like, oh, hey, Yu-Gi-Oh came out. I was like, oh, Yu-Gi-Oh's the new shit, dude. Like, I wasn't even into Pokemon cards, but then Yu-Gi-Oh came out and the Yu-Gi-Oh cards came out, and I'm like, oh, gotta get them, dude. Gotta get the fucking 10 cans and the little packs and shit.
Yeah, so I think that was another aspect of anime that I liked, is a lot of the shows, they had like a collectability about them. And historically, I like to collect things, so I'm even collecting stuff now. It's not anime related, but I'm a collector of things, yeah.
To the question, do you like anime?
From a today standpoint.
Yeah. Today I do enjoy anime. It's not as widespread. I'm pretty locked in on like the bio
lane.
And yeah.
And so
I haven't traveled too far out.
Yeah, no, that's totally cool, and we understand that. That's you obviously you know us well behind the scenes in the show, and we've talked about wanting to blur this line for people, and that's I think where these interviews are really going to go is towards the end of the show. We're going to be like, hey, check this one out. Maybe we'll both tell you want to check out whether you get to it or not. That's obviously scheduling. Do what you do, and we'd love to hear your feedback on that. But leading into what you're saying about staying in your lane, we say on these previous episodes, we go a little off the cuff here. Well, I did a little research. So I would
Oh,
say
jeez.
Always with
I
the
would
research.
I would say I know your favorite show that would stand apart from the rest. But what would you say your favorite show is? Because I don't want to be off point in speaking for you.
Ooh, okay. I'd probably say Cowboy Bebop is my
Bang,
favorite.
bang, 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 motherfuckers. Let's go. Spencer, I told you.
And
Told you.
that's a cult classic,
Oh, absolutely.
It's not
Absolutely.
super far out there. It's futuristic and it's about bounty hunters, right?
Yeah. No, you're nailing it.
And
there's also
a little bit of a mysterious aspect to it in one of the main characters, Spike's past, that kind of comes to fruition later on.
It's awesome you remember all that. Yeah, so doing a little research on this, and it's funny, I'm gonna be able to call back all the way to episode 1. For me, getting into stuff, I was really into Gundam, right? Which has that maybe not necessarily, it's like it's mech, not necessarily biotech, right? But digging a little deeper, come to find Bandai Namco, which is a big time company, they made like a lot of the video games for like Dragon Ball and,
isn't
all
that Bandai?
Oh, I'm sorry. You are. Look at me.
Mm-hmm.
Look at me fucking up right now.
So rookie, dude.
In the
front of the guest. Oh man. Bandai Namco, excuse me. Filmworks. They used to have a company called Sunrise Incorporated, which was under their umbrella. Come to find, they made Cowboy Bebop, right? And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. What else did they make? Sure enough, they made Gundam, the whole Gundam Wing series.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. Another big one that me and Spencer have kind of alluded to, and I haven't watched, so I don't feel comfortable diving into it as much. I know, Spencer, I think you have, is Code Geass. I think, Pat, you saw that one too, right? You talked about that? Code Geass, Louch of the Rebellion.
No, I don't think
if you're to look at the picture, okay, well, if you want, you can try to look it up right now while we're talking. Yeah,
what's
Code
it called?
Geass.
Is that like GEASE?
GEA. Yeah.
Oh,
GEASS.
All right. That's a little bit of ass play.
And then another big one they made is Inuyasha, which is also on Hulu. Pretty big time show, older. Definitely doesn't fit the bio or mech that all those other 3 ones we mentioned. But I thought that'd be kind of funny, kind of let you know, like, hey, that's ones that you like are all under one umbrella. And even funnier is some dudes that worked for Sunrise Incorporated and made these shows broke off and made their own show back in 2015, a show that you turned on for me and Spencer called Gangsta.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
So all of those are under the same umbrella, and deeper into the show, the one I'm going to recommend you is also part of the Cowboy Bebop, and it's on Netflix. But I won't get into that now. We'll keep chatting. But did you find the Code Geass picture? Does that ring any bells?
I pulled it up. I definitely haven't seen it before.
Okay.
Right off the get, there's a couple photos here that the dude looks like a vampire or something. He's got a big old cloak on.
I don't know if he's a vampire.
I can't say that's something
he's going through an emo phase for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's not something
vampire, but yeah, I get what you mean.
It's not something that I enjoy per se, like vampires and stuff. Maybe my wife, because she enjoyed Twilight, if I wanted to help correlate her to stuff. But
we got a couple savage vampire ones.
He's already thinking ahead. I like where this is going.
Right?
Yeah.
Dang, trying to turn the wife on.
I think that's what's going to be important for all this to go mainstream is people to somehow find a way to make it correlate from shows they like that are real actors to anime, right?
Well, I think even too, we've talked in a previous episode, right, about how fucking Game of Thrones all of a sudden exploded, and shit, even you go back early to when the original Lord of the Rings came out, fantasy wasn't a super mainstream thing at that like really popular, right? You might have a
That's
couple
early
things that
2000s. Yeah,
yeah,
you're right.
that go back to where it's like, oh, hey, cool, maybe some orcs. I mean, I can't even really think of anything before that was like super popular, like to the level of success that
Fantasy wise,
Lord of the
yeah.
Rings was. And then you go from there, and then shit, now there's all kinds of pretty popular big time fantasy shows out there. And I think you bring up a good point in trying to cross that bridge to where if Lord of the Rings didn't have the success it did, I think Game of Thrones doesn't necessarily not maybe exist, but it doesn't exist to the level that it does today. Like you would have never had the success the show did, let alone have the Dragon sequel now. And I think you see a lot of that in anime too, where it's like early on, a lot of it was kind of like, yeah, this is bad. To the people who know, the people in the know, they're like, oh fuck, dude, this is bitching. This is where it's at right now. But until you start to be able to share that with a wider, broader audience, even amongst like your own circle, within your own people that whether it's close friends or just you know third party people that you're, hey, this is a friend of a friend of a friend, or whatever the case may be, even if it's family, trying to get your siblings, wife, cousins, whatever into it. I think really crossing that divide and bringing it into a wider audience all starts with just getting it out there. And I think those comparisons you draw, right? Like, oh, hey, that looks like a vampire shit. She was one of those Twilight tweakers, right? Like, hey, that's that's how you make that, like, oh, hey, you might like this because you like that.
Twilight tweak. What if I like Blade?
You mean like with Wesley Snipes?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Early Ryan Reynolds.
That's kind of fantasy. That's a little bit before, Lord of the Rings.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I would say fantasy, and like fantasy, you think, oh shit, swords and horses and elves
I'm with
and
where
orcs.
you're saying, yeah, different kind of creatures.
Like Blade's already very, that's modern era, but yeah, obviously, because then you could say the same thing about Underworld. God bless Kate Beckinsale, but
That's one of Spencer's bitches.
Yeah, Spencer would love an anime version of her. Her animated titties would be popping off the screen. Spencer would be locked into that. No questions asked. But it's funny point you bring up about the shows, both of you, about the references and cross-referencing them to try to pull in the average listener. That's what we're trying to do here, right? We're trying to get the person. Obviously, a lot of people we got listening right now are a lot of friends, family friends, people like that. Actually, take a moment to shout out a little bit at the analytics. It says we got people from Germany listening. So if you're listening right now and you're from Germany, I want your comment. Danke schön, right? Yeah, I mean, we're horrible at German here, but we would love for you to comment and reach out to us. And actually, I'm going to take the time right in the middle of us talking too, because a lot of us have collaborated in here, including Pat. And I want to shout out Annie Pro Protagonist Podcast. Those guys are super helpful. If you're listening right now and you're checking out stuff and you're typing it in, give them a listen. Definitely a little more mild mannered than us. They're a lot nicer to listen to. I would say sometimes we're kind of a little rough around the edges around here. A lot of cussing.
Just they're
a little more, professional. For sure.
Yeah, a little more professional, and they're deeper into the game. But we appreciate you guys giving us the info you guys did, and we look forward to trying to get them out for an interview. Maybe they'll comment on this episode and be ready to interview sometime soon too. But back to our main guest here, Patrick.
Yeah, don't take my starlight, dude. Okay.
Going on to the point that we were talking about cross-referencing these shows and trying to get people into it. You said you're kind of into one lane. What might get you out of that lane a little bit? What kind of TV shows can you mention to us that we can kind of like, okay, well, what about this anime? You can kind of look it up and just tell us your initial thoughts. I think that would be a nice little segue to talk about for a little bit here. Unless Spencer has something else he'd like to ask.
So you mean like what shows am I currently watching that?
Yeah, like regular TV shows. Yeah, that you would like to see maybe be in an anime adaptation.
So right now I'm kind of in like a limbo on shows. I can kind of think back on some cult classics that are well known on Netflix that I think would probably correlate well in the anime world. And
okay.
first things first, right off the bat, would be like Ozarks.
Okay.
You got a lot of deception going on. You got cartel. You got money laundering. You got a whole bunch of stuff that they can feed off of and play in, and it's a show that I really enjoyed a lot. So I don't know why I wouldn't enjoy it.
Yeah, so you're looking for, and correct me if I'm wrong here. Sounds like you're looking for like the gangster shows you're talking about, even Cowboy Bebop. You're just looking for that sense of like realism. Like it's like, hey, like this is something that like could happen in the real world, and it's just an anime adaptation. It's got the cool graphic art with the gore, maybe potentially or whatever's in it, and then like you said, a kick-ass storyline that kind of leaves you guessing and like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like, does that sum that up a little bit?
Yeah. So I guess I got a little bit of a liking of like crime,
Yeah.
and then also a little bit of a liking of like underground facilities, like cartels and whatnot. But
Spencer, I think you got a good show to recommend to him. This one you recommended to me, and it's got crime, essentially, or at least a crime fighter, right in the name of it. Can you think of the anime without me saying it out loud?
A crime fighter, right in the name of it.
Yeah. I mean, a name that's associated with crime stopping. It's definitely cop based, especially with the intro and everything too. Oh, I just gave it away. Jesus.
Cop Craft?
Yeah, there we go. I gave it away. I said cop.
Okay.
Son of a bitch.
Oh yeah.
What do you think, based on what he's saying? Cop Craft might be.
Cop Craft is cool, and I mean, and that's almost all kind of up your alley. Not necessarily like biomech, but futuristic. Like cars are fucking flying and shit. We've made contact with another civilization. I
that's
wouldn't
for
say
sure at my alley.
Yeah,
look it up. Look up the picture real quick.
No,
dive into this.
Jot it down so I know where to. What's it called again? Cop Craft.
Cop Craft. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I really enjoyed it actually.
Where can I watch that at?
You could watch that on. I'm pretty sure it's on Funimation and Crunchyroll.
So, it's funny here is Pat, for some reason, his smart TV is outsmarted him, and he can't get Crunchyroll on there, and I can't.
But it has Funimation.
But he's got Funimation, so yeah, try it out on Funimation.
No, 100% it's on Funimation, so you're fine.
Okay,
yeah,
there you go.
All right.
So look at the picture. Let us know what you think. Yeah. Maybe read the intro.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, if it's futuristic and cars are flying and they live in like a cyberpunk-esque world, I'm going to be about it. That's my jam, bro.
Speaking of, you watch Cyberpunk, right?
Yeah.
Edge Runners?
Yeah, sorry to cut you off. Cyberpunk Edge Runners was for me. And
dude,
you
convince this guy Spencer to watch it?
Well, I don't know. He didn't like my recommendation of Cyberpunk 2077, so there's another correlation. If you find those gamers, like if they like gaming, they're gonna like anime. They just got to find what they like.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of lanes. That's what we were talking about, like rating those shows in the last episode, or the episode before. Sorry, we're trying to convince people on the categories. It's like we had a list of 70 shows, and that wasn't even all the shows. That was just 70 from our
the
list
more well-known shows.
Well-known, newer stuff. And
it was hard. That's a huge crossover. That you have a whole sub-genre category of shows that are super popular now, just based off of video games. That's how the isekai getting reincarnated into a video game world, whatever whole
those are my
subgenre.
jams.
Came out of was just people who play video games love fucking anime generally. I mean, obviously not always the case. Some people are like, oh no, I just play Madden, I just play 2K, whatever. But
maybe they'll like Kuroko's basketball. Who knows?
No. Sports anime, you lost me on the last one, bro. I was like, this guy's tripping.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying.
Fuck you both.
So yeah, looking at these photos here, it looks pretty good. The chick with the cat ears is a little out of my wheelhouse, but the anime style looks nice. It kind of looks reminiscent of like John Wick or Max Payne from back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely has a feel like that. Like the main dude who you're probably saying, he's like he is in that kind of a role, right? He's like the main guy who's fucking
he's not like
smoking
fully corrupt, but
cigarettes.
he's not
No,
PC.
yeah, exactly, right. He definitely toes the line on what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing. He doesn't really give a fuck. Goes to the boss. He's like, hey, whatever, take my fucking badge, dude. Here's my fucking gun. I don't need this shit.
Yeah,
The John McCain of anime.
yeah, Die Hard. Did you know that's a Christmas movie?
Did you know? I hate motherfuckers
The
that say it's not a
best
Christmas movie,
No.
dude.
Christmas movie.
Bullshit. It's fucking
So,
bullshit. So
what
yeah,
else you
okay.
got?
So maybe some interest. We got a couple others. I'm trying to like
I
wrap
think
my
one
brain
that might be
now.
a stretch,
Go
but
ahead.
it's kind of still in the same tune of what we're talking about, except for now, instead of it being futuristic, it's more, I'd say, like late 1800s, fairy gone.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know. The word
So,
fairy might throw me
yeah,
off
and
there.
I know it does, but you can't think of it as your traditional fairy, right? This
It's
kind of fairy is a
not.
totally different fairy. This is a
Yeah.
savage fairy.
More
And,
horror based.
yeah,
Okay.
but it's like you have
No,
a
it kind of looks
detective
cool.
group that is like based in like the late. I don't know the exact time period. They're still using like muskets and shit. Like
Yeah,
fucking.
it's kind of Witcher, the Witcher-esque.
Yeah, that is a good reference. Nice job, man. Yeah, I would say it's similar to that, where you like it's humans live in a world and they have some like
There's
outside
paranormal stuff,
forces.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
paranormal
and
stuff.
it still
Exactly.
could kind of get into your
Oh, it does. Yeah.
biotech kind of shit, obviously not from the tech side of things because it's still old school or early in the history at that point. But I think you'd probably enjoy that one too. That's another one you can watch that on Crunchyroll, Funimation. I don't know, that one might actually be on Hulu too.
It might be. It might even be on Netflix. To be honest, yeah. I don't
It
know.
looks like they sell the Blu-ray editions of them on Amazon and stuff, so they might even have it on Prime.
Damn.
Oh yeah,
That's
that's
what I'm
true.
saying. It's spreading, man. Like, and
Oh,
that's
for sure. I think
for
you guys are on the money there, saying that it's definitely becoming mainstream. I mean, Netflix and Amazon and them, they wouldn't pick it up if the numbers weren't showing the
right.
proof, right?
Yeah, I
Exactly.
mean, what you almost get more anime originals on Netflix than you are. No, well, no, that's probably not true if you really broke it down. Than normal
from
people
yeah, all
TV shows,
those.
yeah.
But no, there is
Yeah.
a lot though. There is though. You are right. Like they are coming out with a couple like every season, like the big anime shows have been doing for a long ass time, right? And the only reason the big ones have more weight behind them is because they've been around so long, right? And I mean, I think that's even goes to speak for you, Spencer. Like you're like, some of the Netflix shows you're like, maybe, have they stood the test of time? Who are they being made by, right? Like, is
Yeah.
this the kind of anime I'm really into? Outside of the big shows, which I think are like, spread across everything. Like they have One Piece on there and all kinds of shit. But for me, kind of highlighting Netflix a little bit, we've been talking about this a lot because that's the app we think most people would have. Based on Cowboy Bebop, or one of the people that had a hand in making it, there's a show on Netflix called Super Crooks.
Is that an
And
original?
I think it is a Netflix original from the creators of someone who made what is it called? I'm blanking right now. Hold on, I had it pulled up right here. Super Crooks is a superhero anime streaming television series based on the comic book series of the same name, written by Mark Miller and artist Linnell Francis Yu. So one of those two dudes worked on Cowboy Bebop. But I thought this is even kind of funnier now that I'm reading into it a little bit more. My brain is firing right now because I think, Pat, you mentioned this regular TV show, but it got discontinued. Jupiter's Legacy? Didn't you like that show? Wasn't that a show
Yeah,
you
that
liked?
was, gosh, that was a couple of years ago, wasn't it? At least a year ago.
Yeah,
Let me refresh my memory here. Jupiter's Legacy.
yeah. So while you're refreshing your memory here, the series was written by Dia Sato. Oh, maybe that's the guy that did Cowboy Bebop. But from Miller's story, it was directed by Monotobo Huri in a solo directorial debut. The 13-episode series premiered on Netflix worldwide on November 25th, 2021. It serves as a spin-off to Jupiter's Legacy, which is a regular TV show, superhero show that a lot of people like that were really pissed it's not getting a second season. A live-action Super Cook series and second spin-off from the simultaneously canceled Jupiter's Legacy was announced to be in active development. So yeah, I thought that was all kind of funny and tying in that someone from Cowboy Bebop, a regular TV show that I'm pretty sure you liked, unless I'm mistaken. Maybe someone else told me about Jupiter's Legacy.
Yeah, it's not
all tied into this
ringing
anime.
any bells right off the
Okay.
bat. Just looking at the photos,
Okay.
but
well, it has all those reference points we were talking about earlier. So Super Crooks is one I would recommend to you. I think it looks right up your alley. I watched the little preview on Netflix, and I'm like, had some Cowboy Bebop feels to it a little bit, and I mean the super villain kind of thing, more I think more up your alley, I would say.
Yeah. Now I think we got to mention that Netflix tried a hand at bringing Cowboy Bebop anime into live action, and it completely tanked.
Did
Tanked.
Oh, absolutely!
It did.
They
you didn't.
it.
Oh,
no, I think Spencer even know they tried live action it.
Yeah,
they did. They used what's his name from Harold and Kumar as one of the dudes.
Yeah, it completely tanked. They pulled it off.
One of the main dudes.
Yeah,
the fucking Asian dude. I forget his name.
Who, Spike?
Oh.
No, he played Spike, right? Yeah, his name was Harold. His name was Harold in the movie, and he played Spike in.
They did the live adaptation. It tanked bad, dude. It was.
What did it go out on?
Netflix.
Oh, it's a Netflix show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Netflix tried their hand at reinventing a cult classic, and it just didn't work.
Well, that's a hard one to redo, like Real People style too, because that's
they
also did
like futuristic, and
Netflix also tried to do Death Note, or is that a movie? Am I right?
As a real
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think so.
They try to do
Jesus Christ, what are they doing over here?
What are they thinking?
No, well,
now they're going back to making animes.
Some of the harder things with that isn't even just like the piece itself and how you visually, aesthetically present that, but following the tropes and like a human-esque, like Real People show, I think it's a lot harder when you start thinking about like some of the super. I mean, like Cowboy Bebop from surface level, if you're just like kind of looking at it, you're not really diving down into it. It kind of seems like a more upbeat, like, oh yeah, hey, this is cool. This is kind of a lighthearted show. Yeah, these guys rag on each other a little bit. But if you really start to get below the surface, that shit's actually pretty fucking like it's kind of a fucked up show. You start thinking about, and I mean, you could really look at that for any show, honestly. Like
funny
same thing.
You say that.
One of our favorite ones, like One Piece, right? One Piece is actually really fucked up if you think about like all the different shit that's going on behind the scenes. But because there's all these bright colors and it's kind of crazy, and the story keeps you like, oh no, look over here, no, we're over here. But all in the background, like there's all this kind of shit that you're like, holy fuck, dude, this is like technically a kids show, and they've got slavery, drug trafficking, human trafficking, like you got a bunch of shit that's really hard to
fish people.
Yeah, well, even beyond that, yeah. I mean, yeah, like we would call that segregation, right? But like even to getting back to Cowboy Bebop, you have a lot of the same kind of shit. Really, you start thinking about what's going on behind the scenes. I think that's hard to portray from a live action, because as soon as you start to see like, hey, this is a real person and they're doing that, you automatically, like, human nature is, oh my god, I hate this so much more, or no, I can't fuck with this, I'm not. Whereas when you see it in an animated version, you don't, like, the human brain doesn't connect it in the same way to where it's like, oh hey, good, bad. It's like, oh hey, this is fake, this isn't real. It's okay that we see it like this as an animated version, as opposed to seeing it like a real person do it. That was like the whole reason why the Taken fucking shows blew the fuck up, the first couple ones, because it was like, oh my god, like everyone knew.
They did Tekken live action.
Yeah,
a movie, right?
Well, I'm talking Taken, Liam Neeson. I will find.
Sorry, I thought you said Tekken.
Damn, dude, come on, yeah, Taken, yeah, that would be. Is there even an anime that's based on that kind of series though, like that?
Taken? Oh no, I don't know. I mean, I was just trying to correlate the fact between like, hey, once you start seeing like real people doing that shit, like you fucking hate. That's why Liam Neeson was the man for a couple years, because it's like everyone's like, yeah, he's fucking these guys up. I fucking hate those scumbags. Those are scum of the earth, right? I hope you die a brutal, vicious death.
No, they hit the right point with a lot of people during that time for sure to make those so popular, and just the way they wrote the show. And I think that's probably what's important to Pat here, is what it sounded like to me, is that these shows have to have an element of something that's well written, that like a regular TV show would have. I'm not saying that anime is weakly written, but you're right. Like, I just, for example's sake, right now, brand new show, pretty solid. I was telling Spencer, I was like, I like it, but it's not going to stand up compared to the others in the same category. It's called Beast Tamer. It's cool. It's lighthearted. Something I would actually recommend, maybe even you and potentially your kid could watch. I'll have to watch a little further to see if it's really like got that real harem based style. There's always those shows where they all of a sudden they got a bunch of girls following around. It's one of two ways. It's either over the top fucking fan servicey, very sexualized, or just like, yeah, they're like they love him, but they're more like a family, and I mean, like, it's not as bad. So show's cool, but it's not going to stand up against all those other shows. I don't think it's a shittily written show or anything like that. I have enjoyed it, but it just doesn't punch through. And we've talked on the list that we made. Ideally, those are shows that punch through, you know what I mean? That they're so strongly written that we can get a Pat, or, Pat's wife, or someone random that's like, Pat on the level of, yeah, I like some anime, but I'm kind of in my lane. And Brittany, who I'm assuming, doesn't like anime at all, or just isn't into it.
No, she doesn't like anime, but she does. She is a big Disney fan, and she enjoys Pixar movies and Disney movies.
And there's one called Beastars that has a similar look to those kind of those animes, like a more Pixar kind of look to it, but it is an anime and it's got a little dark kind of twist to it. But again, it's what you're into, right? If it's the lighthearted stuff, might be the wrong show, because me and Spencer don't really watch a lot of the super lighthearted. There's a ton of shit that's like, people go crazy over this show called Fruit Baskets, and I don't fucking get it, bro. I'm like, no thanks. I bet you Brittany would probably like it. Maybe, I would assume.
To be fair, we judge a lot of it based off the title of it, so I don't think we can talk into it. Might be
it's
dark
like a
shit
cooking
going
show,
on,
dude. Like, I don't know.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
Really? Okay. Well, we might have to dive into that deeper. But based off of what we've been talking about, everything, Pat, is we gave you like 3 shows. We kind of dived into like referencing other TV shows that kind of pull people in. Anything we mentioned here kind of pique your interest? You said yeah, but like, would you go and watch it?
Yeah, Copcraft. I'll probably go and check that out.
Okay.
The other 2, they kind of fell at the wayside after, I saw what Copcraft looked like, and it looks like something I'd watch for sure. But
okay,
this past one, Beast Tamer, looks a little too.
I was
too much for me. It's a stretch.
Yeah, no, that would be a stretch for you for sure. Yeah, that Super Crooks is on Netflix, but either way, Copcraft, I love it. So that'll be the show you're gonna watch. We're waiting with bated breath to see what you think. It's all gonna fall on Spencer's shoulders, really, because he recommended it to me. So this is Spencer's show, which I did enjoy a lot. It took me a second to get into it, but after the 3rd episode, I was like, oh shit, here we fucking go.
So basically, if I want to bill somebody for wasting my time, I just hit up Spencer.
Yeah.
I mean, and then if your time's not wasted, you're gonna be paying me, right?
I'll have my people call your people.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But so the form of payment we take is, if it's good, then you have to watch the next show with no question.
Yeah,
within reason, right?
Yeah, well, within reason. Yeah, we're not gonna give you some high school DxD shit, and he turns on like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, I mean, it's right there. That'd be bad.
All I know is I'm like 5 for 5 on the shows I've recommended for you guys. So
yeah, but this all what's funny about this is this all dates back to this is what we call in the showbiz a callback. Those Sunday date nights Pat was referencing. There was one time we went. He was hyping this movie up, dude. He was like, "Oh man, this movie, dude, it's gonna be so good." Because me, and another friend of ours always had good recommendations. We were nailing them. It was just one of those weird times where, and it was like anyone could, like you knew it was going to be a good movie, right? And we just kept. And so Pat wanted to be, he had to be that guy. I had to recommend the next movie. He's like, dude, this one's going to be dope, dude. And we're like, all right, let's fucking go see it. We go and watch the movie. Within the first couple minutes, and we got in like almost late too. Within the first couple minutes, there's these just African American children just in this church. And it's just the scene setting, it goes, it cuts out, and just boom! Dude just kills these fucking little kids. And we look over at Pat and we're like, what the fuck is this, dude?
And just to clarify real quick, I'm not laughing at the actions that happened in the movie. I'm simply laughing at the memory.
Good clarification. Yes, you're not a piece of shit. I know that's not what you're laughing at.
But especially here on Martin Luther King Day.
Oh man, this is too perfect.
If you hadn't said that, they wouldn't even have known.
This is too perfect that he said that.
Digging yourself deeper.
So the movie I'm about to mention on Martin Luther King Jr. Day was Selma. The movie was Selma. It was the reenactment of the walking. I believe it's from Montgomery to D.C., right? I think is what it was.
Yeah, it was a great historical time.
It was a great historical movie, but it was not at all what we thought we were getting into. It was a super serious fucking movie.
So let me see. So when you guys went on your date night, it was like Pat goes he buys 3 tickets, and he's like, all right, come on, guys, we're going in. And you guys didn't know what the movie was before you went in?
No. They all went willingly.
No. Like he said the title, and like I just think we didn't do like it was like we didn't do like a lot of research on it beforehand. It was just like, oh, Selma, about
you just thought some slavery shit.
I thought it was gonna be more like LA riots type.
Yeah, he thought something like that.
Like we were gonna see more of
Rodney King getting beat up. That's what you wanted. That's what you were looking for.
Hey, we're just looking for historical relevance here. Okay. You want to drift away from that. So anyways, the reason I brought all that up is because Pat, ever since then, we've given him shit about stuff he's recommended. Mm-hmm. So he's always like, when he recommends something, I know he's thought about it. I know he's doing his due diligence.
He's not just casually throwing something out there anymore.
He's not me. Yeah. I'll casually throw shit out to Spencer all the time. He'll be like, why'd you just waste my fucking time? Yep. I'll be like, because I love it.
At this point in time, I know just not to even until there's a certain key phrase that comes into shows that it's like, oh, okay, I'll take this with a grain. I'll put some credence behind this show
because he said this. I've got to keep. I got to tell.
The vast majority of them are like, oh, okay, cool. Oh yeah, no, sounds interesting. Oh yeah, okay, we'll keep that in mind. Add it to the queue.
I guess he didn't give you that tell in the Viking show then, huh?
No, I guess not.
No, he did. He did say the key phrase, but that's why he's in the doghouse himself.
Yeah, fuck you, dude. Yeah, I want everyone to know out here that Spencer's a Vinland Saga hater, dude. He fucking hates the show. So all of you fans out there, also, we're trying to.
If you think he's wrong, slide into those DMs. Let him know you're wrong, dude.
Yeah, well, that would be kind of tough, seeing how this faggot's not on social media. So slide into my DMs, and I'll let him know for you. Don't worry, I'll screenshot all of them and send him his way. He won't be able to hide from it. But it's funny you say that because, on this journey of this podcast, we're trying to get more exposure. So we're on all these fucking social media platforms and all that shit. And so I've been getting more and more into Twitter, like commenting on people's shit. And, there's a lot of interesting comments out there and like ratings of shows. And I'm like, how in the fuck do you guys think this is better than this kind of shit? And I laughed so hard. I commented on someone's shit. They're like, 2023 anime of the year, Vinland Saga. Instantly. I was like, there's no way in God's green earth this guy would agree with that. And I wouldn't even really. Like, I think it's good. I do like it. But of the year, and kind of leading into that, I think it was a nice little transition. Spencer, what do we want to talk about in the second half? We got some stuff coming up, don't we?
Yeah, you're getting a lot of shows coming out. We are now into the 2023. What is it for spring? I think it's spring, fucking winter,
Spring.
whatever.
Yeah. Winter, spring, I
However they
guess.
do it.
Are animes like released just like a normal show, or do they kind of have like a season when they
Well, so
release and they follow along?
I think they break it up into like, I mean, if you think about it from like a work, it's a quarterly basis, right? So you got like your spring season, you got your summer season, like fall season, winter season, and I mean, winter, I guess, is probably the only season that kind of goes like football, right? It'll start towards the end of like the 2022 year and it goes into the 2023 year, and then spring, and then the other ones going forward is just straight 2023 or whatever years they're coming out in. But yeah, we got a couple good ones coming out. I mean, actually, fuck, to be honest, you were telling me what's coming out or on the list, and I had to
Mm-hmm.
look it up for myself. There's a stacked year. Like we're about to be getting a lot of good ass sequels
Lots of good
coming
stuff.
out. You got some new shit that's coming out. I think one of the things that we differ a lot in between, obviously for the both of you, but really on a Jason and me standpoint, is that I am more on the manga side of things. I mean, I guess not your
Absolutely.
traditional manga. I only really read
Better than no fucking
manga
manga, Jason.
of the big variety, but I
Yeah.
read a lot of the fucking, I guess, what do they call it? They call it like manhwa. It's like the webtoon, web comic things, which is it's the same thing. It's
So you're a
fucking
weeb?
it's manga, it's comics, but I think it's from like Korea or China or some
Is
shit,
that what they call
Japan.
weebs? Are you a weeb?
I'm not really sure what that means.
Okay. Okay. Anyways, go ahead. Go ahead.
But that being the case, yeah, there's some that they're taking from that, adapting into just like how we were talking about, like fucking couple episodes back about Kingdom, right? Like Kingdom, oh hey, it was super popular, and then for whatever reason they did the first two seasons were shit, CGI, and it didn't work. But the manga was so fucking popular and sold so fucking hard that they're like, dude, we can't end it like this. We got to retry, and now all of a sudden now we're getting real ones. You got season
Yeah.
3, and season 3 fucking slapped, and now it's already been
Kingdom's
renewed
one of those top shows for
renewed for
me.
season
And
4, and they're gonna make us wait like a fucking whole other year before that shit comes out, like douchebags. But whatever, I got the manga, so I'll just keep reading that shit and know what's going on. But I think some of the bigger ones that
They come
we're
out
really fucking,
seasonally.
yeah, that we're focusing on that are coming out now, or not now, but 2023. You got Attack of Titan, the final season, or alleged final season. I guess they've been saying the final
Alleged
season for a
forever.
while. Maybe this all of a sudden becomes like a part 7 fucking final season. I don't know. I don't read that manga.
It'd be like
Um,
Fast and Furious. We'll just keep coming out with new
you just
ones.
gotta keep pumping it out, dude. It's all about the
It's a
family.
lifestyle, bro.
Yeah.
It's all about the family.
But outside of that, you got probably one of the more, at least widely accepted and will be readily watched by a wider audience, is definitely going to be Demon Slayer.
Season
New
3,
season of
stoked.
Demon Slayer is coming out, and obviously that's already had a lot of mainstream success. It came over here to the States. They put it in the movie theaters, was slaying in the movie theaters.
I think they even make toys here in the U.S. I've seen this logo here before, like Target and Walmart and stuff.
Oh yeah, dude. We know people that they're still working at schools, and they see people. The kids at schools are hyping up.
All the
They're coming
time.
in fucking gear, dude. Sweatshirts. They got the hoodies all the way face zip up, where they put the hood on, and like on the front of the
Mm-hmm.
zip up, they got the face and shit, or like the eyes, whatever. Like,
That Naruto shit still hits really hard too. I
Yeah,
saw
the
some
red
the other
cloud.
day. Yeah, the red clouds, that
the
Kotsky
Kotsky,
I had
shit,
dude. Bang
I kept
bang.
seeing people wearing it. I had to look it up. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's like an anime thing, but I don't know what it's referencing.
See, I'm telling you, it's
Yeah,
spreading.
dude.
So
You
yeah,
got them
Demon
running
Slayer.
around the track, their hands behind their back, dude.
That's what people think of anime. We're trying to get away from that. That's what we don't want anymore. We don't want people to think.
Whenever I saw, if I saw some kid, if I was for whatever reason I was at a school and I saw that shit and some kid was doing around that, running around the track like that, I'd be like, yo, what's up, homie? Get down, dude.
Dude, would you do a little jujitsu for him, dude? You little hand signs,
a little hand thing.
For sure. We're getting off point here. So we Demon Slayer season 3. How do you feel about that? I'm stoked.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think the most recent one that came out, the one they don't even break. They're not even breaking this up into seasons. Yeah, it's like they're doing it by like arc title. Yeah, so Entertainment District arc. It definitely ended on a high note. I think it started off really slow for me. I was super disappointed that it was like it was like less than 10 episodes or some shit. Like it felt like
it was
super
like
short.
8 or 9 one. Yeah,
compared to like the very first one, they gave us like 28 episodes or 24 episodes off the rip for that shit. I was like, oh fuck, dude, this is gonna be.
But sometimes that story setting, don't you feel like? I think there are other animes that have done that where they come out with that 24 banger right away, 25, and then the next one's only 12 because it's just like setting. There's so much in the world building and everything else, they have to extend it that far.
Well, and I think one thing too we probably never touched on is the shows that are ongoing. They can only keep ongoing as anime as much of the manga content there is.
Yeah.
So like I think with Demon Slayer is probably a good example that the anime was so successful all of a sudden that I was like, oh hey, we gotta fucking pump out the next anime, and the manga dude's like, oh well, fuck, dude, I'm only hearing the story. Like you want to like get it, you gotta pump the brakes until I can catch up to where I'm at.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good thing to preference as well, right? You can only get as far like. Just like with Lord of the Rings, if there wasn't fucking all those books that were already written, there's no new movie or whatever coming out. There's no content for it to build off of and portray.
So Pat, what as we're talking about this, what stands out for you for why you wouldn't want to watch Demon Slayer?
I mean, it just kind of looks a little too fantasy for me. It definitely looks like there are some cool moments in there. You got these guys wielding katanas and going savage, as you guys would say.
Yeah.
But then you see this guy that's got a boar's head. And, like, okay.
He's funny as fuck, dude. You would like his hair.
That's just a mask.
That's just a mask.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, see, I wouldn't know that just looking at the cover art. So,
true.
That's how well he
fair
wears
point.
it.
But that's a fair point he brings up though, because he's just going off first glance. You know what I mean?
So it looks. I mean, it doesn't look like it's any superpower based. It looks like it's just a freaking posse of guys going around and
sword techniques is what. Yeah. So it's like it's power-esque, I would say, but yeah. I'm just curious, right? Because like this is what it's all about. Like we're like. I don't think we're going to tell you anything right now that's going to make you say, okay, I'm going to go fucking watch it. But we'd be interested for sure if you watched it and said, oh, definitively, this is why I don't like it. The fantasy thing's interesting to me because I do think you like Lord of the Rings, but you wouldn't like this. I do find that kind of interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I like Lord of the Rings just because it was a cult classic. I'm kind of a nostalgic guy, Well, everyone likes Demon Slayer, don't they?
So why don't you? Is what we're saying.
I don't know.
You just flip that on yourself.
You gotta give it a chance. You gotta give it a chance first.
Yeah. It's a cult classic in anime world.
Season 1, and you were like, "Oh, I'm not at least interested." Yeah, I'll cut my toe off, right? I'll be like, "Oh, okay."
Okay,
did you hear that? Let's do it. That is on air, dude. We're getting toes cut off, and we don't like.
We're gonna live stream that shit on YouTube.
I was gonna offer up anything that big, God. But yeah, so that's a new one that's coming out. There's tons of anticipation around. The next one I wanted to bring up, which you brought a picture up with, is Dr. Stone.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
that for me is something that I think you could watch with your son. You know what I mean? I don't think the action or any of those like intense moments are too over the top that it would, sully him in any kind of way in one way or the other. You know what I mean? And I think it is a unique storyline. I like it a lot. You know what I mean? I'm trying to find a way, Spencer, though, to say what happens at the beginning without. I mean, I think if I said what happened and then leave it at that, it wouldn't be too bad, but I don't want to ruin it for people when the green flash happens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean that's
Without
really
saying it, you can't say what the show's about. Essentially,
yeah, but I think at the same time that's really kind of the whole base. I mean, all of that happens in in episode 1, right? I think
Well, yeah,
predominantly, right? Like you see, you don't have to say what it is or what happens, but essentially you're going the whole premise of the show is that this apocalyptic event happened, and now you have humanity was at its peak prior to, or not its peak, but modern era. I guess
modern today.
you could say where we're at today. Some apocalyptic event happens, and then all of a sudden we go, fuck, I don't even remember how long it is, like
Thousands, maybe
100,000,
millions years. Yeah,
yeah,
maybe even a million years. A
like
lot.
250,000 years into the future, and now some other new event happened to where people are back and we're trying to build up again from the
From
Stone
scratch.
Age.
Yeah, from the Stone Age, and yeah, hence the name of the show. And that's what we're saying. Like, it's so tough to like be on that brink of we want to bring people in, but we don't want to give away shit. Because if it was just the average anime listener, we could be like, "Oh,
Yeah,
hey,
'cause that one's
spoiler," and
badass.
then boom, we start diving into it.
I mean, that's how we've used that show to suck a couple people in already.
Mm-hmm. So like that would be one I'd be interested to see what you thought, because it has all these cool little elements to it, and it has like that, like the learning something new kind of thing. Like
I think the one that would really get him too, like you mentioned, in some of the other ones that he really likes, is the realism aspect. Like this shit is. I mean, obviously it's an anime, so the realism is a little bit different. But
I
like
already know what you're gonna say.
from a scientific standpoint, like the basis of what's going on is really good in the show. Where you're like, oh fuck, dude, that's how it works. Like you almost learn something while you're watching the fucking
Yes.
show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I got it pulled up here on the interwebs, and
Like you think you know your profession? Like this guy would teach you more about your profession.
Mm-hmm.
so he's a jack of all trades. You're saying?
Well, I was thinking more along the construction of something, but
Okay.
you know, I digress. I don't want to give away too much for you. You know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This one, the anime style, I think I like this one more than Demon Slayer. I can get behind the adventurous look that it has.
Yep.
It also looks like I don't want to say gang of guys, but a couple of guys that might have found each other along the way, and
it's very world buildy.
Yeah, they're moving forward and figuring it out
for sure.
And they
there are chicks too, though.
There are chicks too. Spencer would not be into this show if there was no chicks. Let's just clarify here. Yeah, I would love, like, honestly, Copcraft, go with that one first. Go with your gut, with the one that you think that you're leaning towards the most, and we want to hear your feedback on it. But Dr. Stone, like that's another one that we would probably both say, right, Spencer? Correct me if I'm wrong. Huge popular show.
Yeah,
definitely.
Well, and I think with that one specifically, that was probably even for both of us one of the more popular shows that we've liked that has not really entrenched our normal anime
viewing styles. Yeah, exactly.
As far as like what you mentioned,
not like
it's not super savage. There's not a bunch of busty ass bitches and like harem shit going on.
Yeah.
It's definitely like like you could watch this with your family, with your kids, whatever, and be like, oh, okay, and still enjoy it at the same time.
It's still gripping.
Is it somewhat like similar to Misty hanging out with Ash in Indigo League? Pokemon back in the day, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I would say
it has its moments like
as
that.
As far as
a little bit more serious,
male to female interaction. Yeah, it's probably more along that line. Like, hey, I'm being mean to you because I like you, but I don't like you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it has enough of that realness where it's like you know, as an adult, you're still like, okay, shit, I fuck with this. Like, I don't even care if
And even
little
the,
boy goes to bed. I'm
yeah,
gonna keep watching.
the story. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, and somebody that we had watch it, you know, number one fan, he watched it with the whole family.
Number
And
one
the whole
fan.
fam fucking loves it. You know, him, his wife, his son. I don't know. I think his son's like fucking 12 or some shit, 13, 14.
Yeah.
Ooh, Anthony?
You're not number one fun. Yeah, you said it. You said his name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
Anthony.
Just name
But
dropping
Just
people.
ratted him out, bro.
Oh
dude,
man, this is the secret society, dude. We can't let people know you watch anime, bro.
Yeah.
What?
Well, that's
we
why we're here,
we're
right?
not big enough where we can out people yet.
Oh, my bad. I think you dropped his name last time, so
I did.
No,
Spencer.
yeah,
I did. Spencer,
he's been mentioned
got mad at
before.
me. Yeah.
And I've dropped your name too before. I think
yeah, in the first episode, bro.
yeah.
Because I was on point with my references. Okay?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You were like,
I mean,
oh man, what was that show Pat told me?
I think I was only referencing 2 shows there. You think you're at a 5 of 5, so I'm trying to figure out what the other 3 were. But no,
I think someone's chunking, dude.
Big chunking, dude.
Yeah, somebody was chunking right there.
Not a chunk, dude. So Copcraft is where you're leaning, huh? That you're gonna check it out?
Yeah, I'll check out Copcraft. I don't really like to divvy up my watching time, so I probably got to watch one before I watch the other. But
yep, no, I'm with you.
Yeah. Spencer's the same way. I'm not.
Anthony, Jason's the only fucking psychopath that watches like 10 different shows all at once.
I couldn't do it.
I mean, I watch different shows as if they're seasons ongoing. Like I always watch One Piece. Right?
I'm glad you're covered right there because I was about to
other shows in between that. But yeah, this motherfucker would be watching like, oh, I'm gonna start this show. Get 5 episodes into this show. No, I'm gonna go start this show. Get 5 episodes into this show. Oh shit, yeah, I still got this show I gotta watch too. And yeah. He's like, you know what? I just started Beast Tamer too, dude. It was cool, man. It was cool, man. Yeah. You know, like, oh, okay, whatever.
I'm trying to get our audience a wide range of shows. Okay, I'm giving them a little bit of everything. Because how many episodes are they gonna watch? They're not gonna watch the full fucking 13 if I don't give them the first couple. You know, we can't just read intros every time and have people be like, "Oh yeah, I'm into it." It's the pictures.
How many shows did you start watching where you're like, I'm not really feeling it, and then I finally fucking get through it. I'm like, nah, dude, you gotta watch this, and you come back, you're like, all right, yeah, you know, you're right. I should have kept watching this.
Well, I mean, I hate to admit it on air about you being right, but I mean, definitely multiple times.
Okay, yeah. I mean, multiple handfuls.
Oh, what, dude? You're tripping. You're tripping now. 57 minutes. We're wrapping up. Pat, what would you like to say out to the people out there, dude?
I guess my biggest takeaway is anime is limitless. There's something for everybody out there. From the car guys, you can watch Initial D. It's a great show. It's just not limited like the mainstream movies and shows. Check it out.
Appreciate it. What about you, Spencer? What do you want to leave the folks with before we get out of here?
Yeah, and I think Pat hit it great. Closing right there is just that, hey, even though it seems like this is a very kid-orientated thing, it reaches a lot of different perspectives, a lot of different genres, a lot of different interests, and really you're just limiting yourself by not giving it a try.
I would agree wholeheartedly. So, guys, every Thursday, new episodes are going to be coming out, probably in the evening. We enjoy you guys listening. We'll catch you guys next time.